Coming up on Mountain News this morning, victims in the Rhode Island hockey game shooting are being identified as members of the shooter's family. And we take a look at the life of civil rights activist Jesse Jackson and remember his visits to Hazard.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Welcome to Mountain News This Morning. I'm Neely Green here with you on this Wednesday, February 18th. The time is now 6 o'clock and let's check in with meteorologist Megan Duswell for a look at your forecast this morning. Megan, I can't believe we're more than halfway through February.
I know, it feels like just yesterday it was 2025 and now we're in the new year and we're almost 2 months into the new year. It's crazy. But as you're heading into your February 18th, we're looking at a lot of cloud cover this morning. I mean, we're talking overcast conditions. We're going to start to see some chances of rain picking up as we're heading into the later morning hours. But for the most part, it's a relatively calm day with very warm temperatures to start off and a mixture of the upper 50s and low 60s and overnight high temperatures this afternoon in a mixture of the low to mid 60s. If you're curious about those overnight lows, though, it'll be very similar to this morning in a mixture of the 50s. But high temperatures for your Wednesday will be around that 4 o'clock time frame. Neely.
Thank you, Megan. Victims in the Rhode Island hockey game shooting are being identified as members of the shooter's family. The new details about the deadly incident comes as members of the community are coming together to show their support after the horror that broke out just days ago. CBS's Jared Hill has more from New York.
A small light through dark times in Rhode Island. One day after the deadly shooting at a high school hockey game in Pawtucket in nearby Smithfield, people gathered to pray.
Our safe space, our home was violated.
Chris Labrizzi is the head coach of one of the teams on the ice when authorities say the gunman shot 5 people before turning the gun on themselves.
Kids from North Smithfield skated with the kids from that family, you know, and they were there and they saw, no one should ever see that.
Police identified the shooter as 56-year-old Robert Dorgan, who also went by Roberta Esposito.
One of the victims was his ex-wife, Rhonda Dorgan, and also his son. Adult son Aiden Dorgan.
The Pawtucket police chief says the parents of Dorgan's ex-wife were also shot, along with a family friend. All 3 taken to the hospital.
They were all at the event for a son, a juvenile son who was playing hockey.
Authorities confirmed that Dorgan used 2 guns. In a statement, the Dorgan family said they have been deeply affected by the shooting and that behind every headline is a family experiencing profound pain and loss. Meanwhile, Tuesday, teams returned to the rink to gather what they'd left behind in the chaos as a memorial begins to grow just outside. Authorities are still working to pin down a motive. Jared Hill, CBS News.
Court records show a history of family disputes, some involving Dorgan's transgender identity. Now to the search for the missing mother of today's show co-host Savannah Guthrie, which is now on day 18. Law enforcement officials say DNA collected from a glove 2 miles away from her home turned up no matches in the FBI's national database. Investigators are also looking into gun purchases in the area as they try to identify the masked armed suspects seen in publicly released doorbell camera images.
Evidence takes time to present itself in cases, and it's frustrating and it's tedious work.
Authorities are also honing in on the backpack the suspect was wearing in surveillance video the night Guthrie went missing. This Ozark Trail brand is sold exclusively by Walmart. Across the country, schools are ending their partnerships with LifeTouch Photography after its parent company was linked to former investment executive that has ties to Jeffrey Epstein. According to the Department of Justice, LifeTouch appears in an FBI SEC report under a business transaction. The Kentucky Educational Development Corporation announced that they've suspended any current or future use of LifeTouch photography until a thorough investigation is conducted.
We're always going to do what we think is right for our school districts, for the safety and well-being of our kiddos and their families.
The LifeTouch CEO said Friday the company was not named in the files and they contain no allegations that the company was involved in illicit activities. The Laurel County School District announced it is canceling scheduled elementary school spring photos with LifeTouch. A priority housing measure has passed the Kentucky Senate. Senate Bill 9 will provide cities and counties tools to create residential infrastructure development districts. Senator Robbie Mills, who sponsored the bill, says infrastructure costs like road and water improvements would be financed over time instead of all up front. Senator Mills says this will help reduce the final price of homes and speed up construction. Senate Bill 9 now heads to the House for consideration. Legislation was filed yesterday proposing a 3-year pilot program to prepare children for kindergarten. Senator Danny Carroll is sponsoring Senate Bill 191. It would reward child care providers and low-income parents when children enter kindergarten ready to learn. $2,000 would be given to the parent or provider of the child during the 2 years prior to kindergarten. The University of Kentucky would operate the program, studying the effectiveness of performance-based.
If we can get a strong foundation and we can get 80–90% of our kids kindergarten ready, imagine the progress and the success we can have in those first 3 years and beyond if teachers can focus on moving the kids forward instead of trying to get kids caught up who are not kindergarten ready.
The program would start January 2027 through July 2029, and the University of Kentucky would then report its recommendations to lawmakers by October 2029. Lawmakers are now considering 2 new Senate bills aimed at improving maternal health care in Tennessee. One of the bills would prevent emergency rooms from turning away pregnant women who are having a medical emergency or are in active labor. The other bill would use federal funding to start a program to help those mothers whose pregnancies end in stillbirth. They would be able to use that money to pay for burials. Both bills are still in the early phases and have to pass through several committees before making it to the House floor. A Tennessee lawmaker wants to stiffen the penalties for someone who encourages or helps someone commit or attempt suicide. Representative Ryan Williams says the proposed law is inspired by a Knoxville woman. She died after a man encouraged her to place a bullet in a revolver, spin it, and put it to her head and pull the trigger. He was sentenced to 2 years in prison, and that's the maximum penalty under current law. Williams wants that penalty to be increased up to 12 years in prison. The House Judiciary Committee will consider the bill today. Governor Andy Beshear is teasing an upcoming announcement. This post was made to Beshear's personal social media pages last night, saying it's something he's been working on for a while and thinks it will offer a path forward to bring people together. The governor says he'll share what that is today. People continue to remember the life of civil rights activist Jesse Jackson. While his impact is felt nationwide, it can also be seen here in Kentucky, where several local leaders say they're walking a path Jackson helped pave for them. For Richmond Mayor Robert Blythe, who is also a pastor, he says Jackson's evangelism is what he admired.
See, Jackson made it plain that there is no social gospel, there's just the gospel. And the gospel is intended for those who are oppressed, downtrodden, and so on. And that's the message that he proclaimed even outside the pulpit.
Lexington's NAACP President Whit Whitaker says Jackson opened the eyes of young black men like him, noting that there is a space for African Americans in politics.
We're talking a nice and warm start to your day as you're heading out the door. You can expect a mixture of the 50s and for some, the low 60s at 61 degrees right now in Stanton and Boonville, 63 in Somerset, 58 in Harlan, 57 in Jonesville and in Clintwood. So definitely not needing that coat this morning. Maybe a light jacket's all you need. And by the time we head into the afternoon, we'll see some improvements of those temperatures, but not by too much. The highs are in a mixture of the low to mid 60s because that cloud cover that we're seeing this morning is really going to limit the amount of warmth that we're going to see, as well as that slight chance of rain that'll pick up later this morning that will continue throughout your day, clearing as we're heading into the late evening evening, but another round of rain picks up heading into your Thursday. Neely.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you for getting your day started with us here on Mountain News this morning. Meet a couple that may have been destined to be together from the moment they were born.